In this video we will understand scientific management approach. Let's start. Introduction. 1. Theory of scientific management emerged in the 20th century under Frederick Winslow Taylor's leadership. Often described as a movement that significantly influenced the administration and management of organizations during that period. Analyzes and synthesizes workflows within an organization. 2. Contributors to scientific management. While Taylor is credited with propounding the scientific theory, other figures like Charles Babbage, Henry Towne, Frederick Halsey, and Henry Metcalfe extensively applied scientific management methods and techniques in organizations. Louis Brandies coined the term scientific management in 1910, which Taylor utilized to introduce scientific techniques for enhancing organizational efficiency. 3. Impact and application. The scientific theory had a substantial impact on administrative thought and practice in both industrial and government organizations. Taylor's contributions to the scientific theory of management are documented in several books, including A Piece Rate System, Shop Management, Art of Cutting Metals, and Principles of Scientific Management. 4. Taylorism. The scientific theory of management is also known as Taylorism, reflecting the significant influence and emphasis placed on efficiency and scientific methods in organizational management. F.W. Taylor, a biographical sketch. 1. Early life and career. Frederick Winslow Taylor was born in Germantown, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in 1856. He began his career as an apprentice at the hydraulic works in Philadelphia. Later, he worked in various roles at the Midway Steel Company, including laborer, gang boss, research director, and chief engineer. 2. Taylor's observations and early contributions. The birthplace of Taylor's scientific theory of management was the Midway Steel Company, where he started working in 1877 at the age of 22. He noticed that the workers consistently failed to meet the required output of their work, leading him to recognize the need for scientific methods to enhance productivity. 3. Educational achievements. In 1884, Taylor earned his degree in mechanical engineering, which laid the foundation for his future work in the field of management. He later assumed the position of general manager at the Manufacturing Investment Company in Philadelphia. Additionally, he served as a professor at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. 4. Published works. Taylor's significant contributions to the field of management were documented in several influential papers and books, including Piece Rate System, 1895, Shop Management, 1903, Art of Cutting Metals, 1906, Principles of Scientific Management, 1911. Principles of Scientific Management. 1. Foundation of scientific theory of management. Taylor believed that the principles of management should be based on fixed laws and scientific methods. He emphasized studying the relationship between the physical and physiological nature of a worker. Taylor's approach focused on the empirical analysis of processes to ensure efficiency and effectiveness. 2. Soldiering and motivation. Taylor observed the tendency of workers to reduce output, which he called soldiering. He classified soldiering into natural and systematic categories, aiming to reduce it through scientific techniques. Taylor emphasized the application of scientific principles to motivate workers for increased productivity. 3. Rationalization of work methods. Taylor noticed that workers independently determined work methods without effective management or supervision. He criticized the use of traditional, rule of thumb, methods and advocated for rationalizing work methods. Taylor highlighted the need for supervisors' involvement to ensure efficiency and rationalize work methods. 4. Scientific structuring of work. Taylor believed that scientific principles could structure every aspect of work in organizations. He emphasized the role of management and supervisors in achieving efficiency, highlighting the need for their expertise and training. 5. Scientific approach and goal accomplishment. Taylor's scientific approach focused on empirical research and controlled experiments in management. The approach emphasized systematic investigation in all endeavors, aiming to accomplish goals through scientific methods. 6. Principles of scientific management. Taylor outlined several principles, including replacing the rule of thumb with scientific methods, determining the one best way of doing tasks, and training workers for optimal output. He emphasized cooperation between management and workers, with equal responsibility for achieving higher output. 7. Summarizing principles of scientific management. The principles of scientific management could be summarized as emphasizing science over traditional methods, encouraging cooperation, aiming for maximum output, and developing workers' efficiency. 8. Cooperation as the essence of scientific management. Taylor believed that scientific management required a complete shift in mindset for both workers and managers, emphasizing cooperation over conflict. The goal was to secure maximum output and prosperity for each employee or worker. Characteristics of scientific management. 1. Functional foremanship. Taylor introduced the concept of functional foremanship, advocating that each worker be supervised by 8 specialized foremen. These foremen were categorized into planners and planning unit, order of work and route clerk, instruction card clerk, time and cost clerk, and shop disciplinarian, and shop floor execution and supervision, gang boss, speed boss, repair boss, and inspector. 2. Motion study. Motion study was aimed at standardizing work methods by observing all motions in a job and determining the most efficient set of motions. The objective was to design an optimal work method with appropriate techniques, tools, equipment, and raw materials to facilitate efficient hand and body motion. 3. Time study. Taylor devised the time study technique to determine the standard time required for completing tasks through time and motion studies. This technique aided in the planning of daily tasks and setting benchmarks for worker performance. 4. Differential piece rate system. Taylor proposed the payment of workers based on a piecemeal system determined by the standards set by time and motion studies. The system aimed to motivate workers to increase productivity by providing financial incentives through a differential piece rate system. It fostered a mutual interest between workers and supervisors for increased economic rewards. 5. Exceptional principle. Taylor emphasized the need for managers to encourage exceptional work performance beyond standard targets. This principle promoted recognition and reward for outstanding performance, encouraging workers to strive for higher levels of productivity. 6. Other methods. Taylor also advocated for additional techniques to serve the principles of scientific management, including standardization of tools and methods, the establishment of a separate planning department, instruction cards for workers, and the implementation of a cost-saving system. Taylor. An appraisal. 1. Narrow focus on shop floor. Scientific management mainly emphasized the reformulation of supervisory concepts and activities on the shop floor, neglecting the broader administrative structures of an organization. It was criticized for its limited attention to decision-making, which was primarily focused on the shop floor level, ignoring the overall strategic and administrative decision-making processes of the organization. 2. Mechanical view of organization. The approach was criticized for viewing the organization as a purely mechanical system, disregarding the human element within it. Workers were perceived as cogs in a machine, emphasizing efficiency over the well-being and personal development of the workers. This perspective faced opposition from the workforce. 3. Economic-centric motivation perspective. Scientific management predominantly viewed motivation in terms of economic factors, overlooking the importance of psychological and social factors in driving employee performance. The approach's focus on material rewards as the primary motivator was challenged by subsequent thinkers like Elton Mayo, Chester Bernard, and M.P. Follett, who emphasized the significance of workers' behavior and their role in the organization. 4. Trade union criticism. Scientific management faced strong opposition from workers and trade unions as Taylor's emphasis on cooperation between workers and supervisors was perceived as a threat to unionism and workers' rights. The workers and their representatives believed that the approach undermined their collective bargaining power and diminished the influence of labor unions in the workplace. 5. Managerial opposition. The adoption of scientific methods was criticized by managers, who felt that it limited their ability to exercise judgment and discretion in decision-making processes. Managers believed that the increased emphasis on standardized procedures and the strict application of scientific principles left little room for their discretion and decision-making authority, thereby reducing their overall autonomy. The notes of this video is provided into description of this video. Thank you.